Hey everybody, this is my 40-gallon Brackish tank, and today we're going to do a simple before and after, but all we're going to do is change out the lighting on it. We're not going to do a water change or wipe down the glass or anything. I just want to show you what the difference between the lighting that's on there now and what the new lighting is going to look like. So what we've got on there right now is a partially functioning fluorescent light and an LED. Let me get some lights turned on above here, and then we'll have a look at what's actually going on top of the tank. You can see this is all salt after this gets wet, and then the salt gets left behind as it dries out. So in the front part of the tank, I have right now this LED that I don't normally keep turned on. You can see it's one of those plant LEDs with the blue and the red lights, and I just don't really like the way it makes the tank look all that much, but it does function. And in the back part of the tank, we've got a standard aquarium hood that came with this, which is 3 feet wide, but as you can see where the reflection of the light is, the light itself is only 24 inches. So that's one single 2-foot light. I'm not even sure the wattage on that. I think it's like a 30-watt light or an 18-watt light. I don't even know. We can look at that afterwards. We can discuss that in the afterwards part of this video. So I don't like this light at all. The only time I ever really turn this on is when we're shooting video of Butterbean. Normally this light is the light that keeps the tank lit all the time, and I keep it more or less sort of like that, and it keeps the whole tank lit. And so this isn't working properly anymore. The fluorescent light in there has gone bad, and you can see how dim that is, and so that's why I've got this one turned on in the meantime. So what we're going to replace them with are these shop lights that are only 3 feet long, and they are nice and flat. Let's see. LED shop light, bright white. It's 4,000 K, so I'm not overly happy about that. I wish it was 5,000 K. I knew one of these sides had some of the information we were looking for. So we've got, 4,000 K. It's a 30-watt LED. It puts out 3,000 lumens, so it is fairly bright. But if you got an idea from looking at the picture, they are also extremely flat. And so when I set it on top of the tank, that flat part will be touching the glass, not this little plastic housing. And remember, that's just a plastic light diffuser. That's not actually like a glass bulb. This won't get hot. There's just a strip of LEDs inside this plastic tube, so this plastic tube won't even get hot. So that lying directly over top of your tank won't generate enough heat to crack the glass or anything. It's 3 feet wide, so it fits perfectly, and you can see when it lays down there, it's going to lay nice and flat, and you're not even going to be able to tell it's in there. In fact, if we walk around here, this tank has had those lights on it for years. Same exact lights, and you can see how nice and low-key they are. They sit just above the height of the tank. You can barely tell it's even got lights on top of it, and yet it puts out, between the two of them, about 6,000 lumens, so it's going to light that tank up quite a bit. So let's get back to what we were looking at. We'll get the tank back to its original state here. Give me half a moment. You think I'd be a little more prepared for this. Get the overhead light turned back out. And so that is what we are looking at right now. So consider that your before. And there's your after. So that is a whole lot of light in the tank. When I put the first light on it, I figured that was a lot of light. And then, of course, when I put the second one on it, it was just over the top with the amount of light that's in the tank. Butterbean does not seem to mind it. I was thinking he would be freaking out by this much light in the tank. And even with me working on it and taking the lid off and all that kind of stuff, did not seem to freak him out too much. It's literally been 2 minutes since I put the top back on and picked the camera back up, and he's already just swimming around checking everything out like that. He's more stressed than this after a water change. And full disclosure, I did actually wipe the underside of the glass hood down a little bit that had some algae and some crud and stuff growing on it, so I gave that a quick wipe down. It's by no means cleaned, but I did wipe it down a little bit, so a little bit more light is able to get into the tank. But none's really necessary. Again, these are really, really bright lights on this tank now. So what I'm probably going to do is either remove this light altogether, or I'm going to put a inline switch in the line right here, because it's basically plug-in only. It's either on or it's not, and all these tanks on this side of the room are all plugged into one plug strip under there, so one switch turns this whole side of the room on. But I don't necessarily need both of these lights on all the time. I'll probably take this rear light and I'll move it up to the middle of the tank, and that will be what the normal daily lighting on the tank is. And then if I need additional lighting for shooting video or stuff, I can turn this forward light on the way I used to do it with the other ones. But I also used to do it with the other ones like that because the light that was in the back of the tank was really not that bright, and I kind of needed that additional light for shooting video. I will say that I'm not overly crazy about the 4000K. I think I mentioned that already. You can see it's got that sort of softer light, but it's not exactly soft either. We'll have to wait and see how the plants in here are going to do. The Java fern in there seems to do well enough. I can imagine if you're flooding it with as much light as we just dumped on top of it, then it's probably going to do okay, even if it's not the greatest light in the world, and even if it's not the best color spectrum. We're probably going to see some algal growth, and I'm probably going to get some weird stuff going on. Again, we just made some major changes to the amount of light this tank is getting, and so we're going to have to wait and see how that plays out. So what I had on there originally, we can have a look at, because I did actually have an LED on there. I had one of these little tubes, which is a little LED retrofit. Not sure how many watts it is or anything, but whatever. That's what I had in there. It's a little 2 foot, and that is an LED. So that was what was in the back in this whole entire unit. Again, that's a 3 foot unit with that little tiny light in the middle of it. And then this is the other unit I had in there. I can't remember the name of it. It's wafer thin. It's a Stingray is the model, and I cannot remember. I want maybe a Finex. It might be a Finex, but it's a Stingray, whatever it is, and I've had it for years. In fact, one of my viewers bought this for me years and years ago when I first started my YouTube channel up, and that's what I've been having sitting on there. So I'll keep it. It'll go in my pile of lights. I got all kind of lights and LEDs and stuff from other tanks over the years, and who knows, maybe we'll use that again someday, but I don't particularly care for that one all that much. It served its purpose, but it's time to move on. So there you go, everybody. That's Butterbean's new, softer looking tank. It's got that sort of yellowy looking light in there. And again, I don't know if we're going to keep all of that light in there, but we will keep this tank nice and brightly lit from now on. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Don't forget, I do a live stream every Friday and Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for watching this one, and I hope to see you then.